Multiplying fractions. The product of two or more fractions is equal to the product of the numerators over the product of the denominators. So in your example, 5/7 times 4/7, 5 times 4 is 20, 7 times 7 is 49. That is your final answer because it cannot be simplified. In algebra, A over B times C over D is equal to A times C over B times D, where B cannot equal 0 and D cannot equal 0. So in our first example of multiplying fractions, we're told we can multiply the numerators, then multiply the denominators. But what you'll need to do prior to that is see if you can simplify before you multiply. So in these two, we can factor out. 2 is a factor of both 4 and 10. So I can factor each of these out. Next, I can factor 7 and 21. Now this makes it a simpler problem, and it will be simplified after we multiply, so we don't have to simplify in our answer. 1 times 2 is 2. 5 times 3 is 15. Notice the sign is going to be times negative 4 over 21, so our final answer is negative 2/15. An example with a word problem. Example 2. Multiplying a mixed number and an integer. In your Emmys, each year the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences presents gold-plated Emmy Awards for programs and individuals in the television industry. Each Emmy statue weighs 4 3/4 pounds. In 2002, 63 statues were awarded. What was the combined weight of all the statues? So we're going to take 4 3/4, which is the pounds, times 63. We're going to put 4 3/4 into an improper fraction, and 63 in an improper fraction. Then we're going to look to see if we can simplify. Unfortunately, we cannot. So we're going to multiply 19 times 63 and get 1,197. 4 times 1 is 4. Now we need to simplify the improper fraction. 1197 divided by 4 is 299 with 1 left over. So your final answer would be 299 1/4 pounds. In our practices, on example 1, we have 7/8 squared. So in our first example, 7/8 squared. Take 7/8, multiply it times 78, 49 over 64, and that is in simplest form. In example 2, notice in example 2 that we can simplify. Now we have -1 times a +1, going to equal to -1 over 8. Example 3, I'm going to put 10 as an improper fraction. Then we're going to change -2 and 3/11 as an improper fraction. And we're going to see if we can simplify before we multiply. We cannot, so 25 times 10, -25 times 10, -250 over 11. Then you have 250 divided by 11. Go in there 22 times with 8 left over. So our final answer for 3 would be -22 and 8/11. Number 4, 3/4 times -12 over 1. Again, see if you can factor out. -9 over 1. Final answer will be -9. Now we're going to be multiplying mixed numbers. Again, we're going to put them in improper fractions. Our answer will be a negative because it's a negative times a positive. So I'm going to change this to a negative 11 over 4 times 16 over 5. We have a common factor of 4. Negative 44 divided by 5 is negative 8. And 4 is your final answer. Okay, I'm going to pause this and let us work these out, changing the mixed numbers into improper, factor out, and then finally check your answer for the correct sign. Notice in each of these problems, we changed the mixed number to improper. Then we tried to factor out. But most importantly, after you've done all that correctly and check your work, you need to check your sign to make sure it's negative or positive. Now we're going to simplify these expressions. And these, as we're simplifying these expressions, we use generally the same rules. We're going to factor out. Then we will multiply the numerators and the denominators. And then checking our sign, making sure it's in simplest form. In B, multiplying our numerators. Remember, when we multiply, we are actually, when we multiply with exponents, we're actually going to be adding them. Before I can do that, I'm noticing I could simplify before I multiply. So that would just remain 1 n to the third, or just n to the third. And when I'm multiplying with exponent, I'm actually adding them. So it's actually going to be n with the exponents of 2 plus 3 over 18. And that simplified would be n to the 5th power over 18. Okay, so we have 4 practice problems. I'm going to pause the video and we'll come back and check our answers. On these, again, simplify, check your answers, check your signs. And that's it.